There's a quiet power humming beneath the surface of our world, hidden in forgotten ruins, buried beneath layers of time, waiting to be rediscovered. Picture this, standing atop an ancient stone platform, feeling the air vibrate with something you can't quite explain, as if the earth itself is whispering secrets lost to modern science. These aren't just relics of the past, they're portals to a time when civilizations harnessed energies we're only beginning to comprehend. Today, we're embarking on a journey to uncover 22 of the most astonishing ancient energy sites scattered across the globe, places where the line between myth and reality blurs, and where the very stones seem to pulse with forgotten knowledge. What if I told you that some of these sites were deliberately built atop invisible energy grids, aligned with celestial patterns we're still decoding? From the eerie precision of megalithic structures to the sacred geometry embedded in their designs, these locations weren't chosen at random. They were mapped with a sophistication that rivals modern technology, tapping into forces that science struggles to explain. Why did cultures separated by oceans and millennia share eerily similar techniques for channeling these energies? And what were they trying to achieve? Immortality, communication with the divine, or something even more profound? This isn't just a tour of ancient wonders, it's an invitation to question everything you thought you knew about history. As we peel back the layers of these enigmatic sites, you'll encounter ley lines that crisscross the planet like a hidden power grid, chambers that amplify sound in impossible ways, and stones that emit measurable energy to this day. By the time we're done, you'll see the world differently, not as a collection of random ruins, but as a carefully woven tapestry of human ingenuity and cosmic connection. So, are you ready to step into the mystery? Let's begin. The Carnac Stones stand like silent sentinels along the coast of Brittany, their ancient presence both awe-inspiring and deeply mysterious. Over 3,000 weathered megaliths stretch across the French countryside in eerily straight rows, some towering over 20 feet high, as if placed by some unseen hand with perfect intent. What's most baffling isn't just their sheer number, it's the precision behind their arrangement. These aren't haphazard monuments, they follow a meticulous pattern that aligns with underground water veins and geological fault lines, areas known to emit measurable electromagnetic energy. Modern instruments have detected unusual fluctuations around the stones, leading researchers to speculate that the site was far more than a ritual space. It may have functioned as a colossal energy conductor. Local folklore adds another layer of intrigue. For generations, villagers whispered about the stones, dancing under moonlight or emitting faint hums during storms. Some even claimed the megaliths resisted being moved, as if anchored by an invisible force. Scientists dismiss these tales as superstition, yet independent studies have recorded strange anomalies, compass needles spinning erratically near certain stones, and infrared cameras capturing unexplained heat signatures along the alignments. Could these be echoes of a forgotten technology? The builders left no written records, but their understanding of Earth's energy seems uncanny. The stone's placement mirrors ley lines, those hypothetical energy pathways crisscrossing the globe, suggesting Carnac was a node in a vast, interconnected network. What's equally fascinating is how Carnac's design mirrors other ancient sites worldwide. From Britain's Stonehenge to Peru's Sayhuite, cultures separated by continents and millennia shared this obsession with harnessing terrestrial forces. Was there a universal blueprint, a lost science passed down through oral traditions? The stone's granite composition, rich in quartz, offers a clue. Quartz is piezoelectric, meaning it generates energy under pressure. Some theorists propose the megaliths acted as natural batteries, converting seismic vibrations into usable power. Others believe they amplified sound frequencies for healing or communication. While we may never know their true purpose, one thing is certain: the Carnac Stones are a testament to a sophistication that defies our assumptions about prehistoric societies. Standing among them, you can't shake the feeling that they're waiting, still humming with a purpose we've yet to decipher. Deep in the wind-swept steppes of Russia's Ural Mountains, the ruins of Arkham rise from the earth like a forgotten machine frozen in time. This circular fortress, often called Russia's Stonehenge, isn't just an archaeological curiosity, it's a vortex of unexplained energy. Step inside its concentric rings, and you'll feel it immediately. Compass needles twitch uncontrollably, electronic devices glitch without warning, and some visitors swear the air itself crackles with an invisible current. The strangest part: these anomalies aren't random. They follow precise patterns mirroring the site's geometric design, as if the entire structure was engineered to manipulate the very forces of the Earth. The builders of Arkham, a Bronze Age culture dating back over 4,000 years, constructed their city with uncanny precision. Its walls form a perfect circle, aligned with celestial events like solstices and equinoxes, while its streets spiral inward like a labyrinth tuned to some cosmic frequency. But it's the ground beneath that holds the real secret. Geological surveys reveal that Arkham sits atop a massive underground network of mineral deposits, iron-rich rocks that interact with the planet's magnetic field. Modern researchers have mapped these distortions, confirming that the site's layout amplifies these natural energies. Was this intentional? The evidence suggests so. Artifacts found here include strange copper coils and polished stone discs, hinting at tools designed to harness or measure these forces. Local legends speak of Arkham as a place where shamans could speak to the wind, and even today, visitors report bizarre physiological effects: sudden surges of clarity, accelerated healing, or vivid dreams after spending time within the ruin. Scientists remain divided. Some argue these experiences are mere placebo, while others point to measurable changes in brainwave patterns recorded near the site's center. One theory proposes that Arkham's architects used its magnetic fields as a kind of spiritual technology, aligning human consciousness with terrestrial energy for rituals or enlightenment. Others speculate it was a colossal observatory, its walls acting as conduits for celestial and terrestrial forces we're only beginning to understand. What's undeniable is that Arkham's mystery deepens the more we study it. Unlike the Carnac Stones, which channel energy through quartz, Arkham seems to tap into something more elusive, an interplay between geology, geometry, and perhaps even human biology. Its discovery in the 1980s forced historians to rewrite their timelines, proving advanced civilizations thrived in this region millennia earlier than believed. As excavations continue, one question lingers: if this was just one node in a wider network, what other magnetic mountains might still lie buried, waiting to disrupt our understanding of the ancient world? Crossing the Irish Sea, we arrive at the mist-shrouded hills of County Meath, where the ancient Mound of Newgrange rises like a silent guardian of forgotten secrets. Built over 5,000 years ago, centuries older than Stonehenge, and the Great Pyramids, this massive circular tomb hides more than just bones and artifacts. Step inside its narrow, stone-lined passage, and you'll notice something impossible. The faintest whisper travels with eerie clarity, bouncing off the walls as if amplified by some unseen force. This isn't an accident of architecture. The entire structure seems engineered to manipulate sound in ways that defy explanation. The winter solstice phenomenon, where sunlight pierces the tomb's inner chamber, is well documented, but the acoustic mysteries are far less understood. Researchers have recorded sound waves inside Newgrange behaving unnaturally, with certain frequencies lingering longer than physics should allow. Some passages act like resonant chambers, amplifying specific tones while dampening others, almost like a prehistoric soundboard. Even more baffling, the stones themselves. Many are etched with intricate spiral patterns, symbols found in other ancient sites linked to vibrational energy. Could these carvings be more than decorative? Indigenous traditions speak of singing stones used in rituals, and modern experiments suggest quartz-rich rocks like those at Newgrange can generate piezoelectric charges when struck, hinting at a deliberate fusion of art, acoustics, and energy. Local lore adds another layer of intrigue. Farmers long claimed the mound emitted strange hums at dawn, while others swore they heard distant chanting from within, even when the site stood empty. Skeptics dismiss these accounts, yet recent studies reveal something startling. The tomb's interior shape creates a perfect waveguide, channeling sound waves along its passage with minimal distortion. This level of precision suggests the builders possessed advanced knowledge of acoustics millennia before the science was formally understood. Was Newgrange a temple where sound rituals unlocked altered states of consciousness, a device for long-distance communication, or something even more profound? What's undeniable is the eerie similarity between Newgrange and other global sites like Malta's Hypogeum or Peru's Chavin de Huanta underground complexes, where sound manipulation appears central to their design. Cultures separated by oceans and eras shared this obsession with harnessing vibration, as if following some universal blueprint lost to time. Standing in Newgrange's shadowed chamber, you can't help but wonder, were these ancient architects not just building tombs but crafting instruments? Instruments tuned not to music but to the very frequencies of the earth itself. Beneath the sun-baked streets of Malta lies a labyrinth so acoustically perfect, it feels less like a structure and more like a living instrument carved from the earth itself. The Hypogeum of Hal Saflini, a three-level underground complex dating back over 5,000 years, isn't just an archaeological wonder, it's a sonic enigma. Descend into its shadowed chambers and you'll notice something unsettling. The walls don't just echo sound, they shape it. Certain frequencies resonate with unnatural clarity, bouncing through the corridors in waves that seem to vibrate through your bones. Researchers have measured tones here that fall within the range of human brainwave frequencies, leading to a startling theory. This place wasn't just designed for the dead, but for the living, to alter consciousness itself. The Oracle Chamber, the Hypogeum's most famous room, demonstrates this phenomenon with eerie precision. Speak softly into its alcove, and your voice amplifies, distorting into a chorus of harmonics that linger in the air like a ghostly chant. Modern acoustic tests reveal the chamber's dimensions create a resonant frequency around 110 Hz, a tone scientifically linked to shifts in brain activity. At this pitch, studies show the prefrontal cortex quiets, while the right hemisphere lights up, a state associated with creativity, meditation, and even trance. Was this intentional? The Neolithic builders left no written records, but the evidence is carved into the walls, spirals and zigzag patterns identical to those found in other ancient sites known for sound manipulation. Local folklore speaks of the Hypogeum as a place where priests could hear the voices of the gods, and even today, visitors report uncanny experiences, sudden waves of calm, vivid hallucinations, or a sense of being watched by unseen presences. Skeptics attribute these to the power of suggestion, but the science is harder to dismiss. In 2010, a team of audio engineers discovered that the Hypogeum's chambers function like a giant resonator, with specific rooms absorbing certain frequencies while amplifying others. The effect isn't random, it's orchestrated, as if the entire complex were tuned like a colossal stone instrument. What's even more intriguing is how the Hypogeum mirrors other ancient sites obsessed with sound. From Newgrange's whispering galleries to Peru's Chavin de Huanta, where conch shell trumpets still echo through hidden ducts, these cultures shared a fascination with vibration as a bridge between worlds. The Hypogeum's builders took it further, engineering their underground maze to harness the very pulse of the Earth. Some theorists believe the limestone itself plays a role, its high quartz content acting as a natural amplifier for terrestrial energies. Others suggest the site was a prehistoric therapy center where sound baths healed the sick or prepared initiates for visionary journeys. One thing is certain, the Hypogeum challenges our assumptions about prehistoric technology. Its architects achieved acoustic precision that rivals modern concert halls, all without metal tools or written mathematics. As you stand in the oracle chamber, feeling the vibrations hum through your fingertips, you're left with a chilling thought. If this was just one node in a global network of sonic temples, what other secrets might still lie buried, waiting to resonate back to life? High above the turquoise waters of Turkey's Mediterranean coast, the rocky slopes of Mount Chimera flicker with an unearthly glow, flames that have danced without ceasing for thousands of years. These are no ordinary fires, fed by natural gas seeping through fissures in the earth. The eternal flames of Kimerra have burned since before the rise of ancient Lycia, defying wind, rain, and time itself. To stand among them is to witness something primal, tongues of fire leaping from the ground as if the mountain itself is breathing. But here's the mystery. Why did cultures spanning millennia revere this place not just as a geological oddity, but as a sacred wellspring of power? The answer lies in the myths woven around these flames. Greek legends named Kimerra the lair of a fire-breathing monster, a beast slain by the hero Bellerophon. Yet local traditions tell a deeper story. Lycian priests once performed rituals here, channeling the fires into ceremonies meant to commune with the earth's hidden energies. The flames weren't just symbols, they were a bridge between worlds. Modern tests reveal something fascinating. The gas vents emit trace amounts of helium and radon, elements linked in ancient alchemy to transformation and spiritual awakening. Could the ancients have sensed these properties, harnessing the fires not just for light or warmth, but for something far more profound? Even today, the site hums with an eerie energy. Visitors describe a palpable shift in the air, a static charge that raises the hairs on your arms as you walk among the flames. Geologists confirm the area sits atop a major tectonic fault, where subterranean pressures create electromagnetic anomalies. It's no coincidence that nearby ruins reveal altars and temples aligned with the vents, their stones scorched black from centuries of exposure. The builders clearly understood this wasn't just a curiosity, it was a conduit. What's most striking is how Kimerra mirrors other sacred fire sites across the globe. From Azerbaijan's Yana Dag to Indonesia's Blue Fire Crater, cultures separated by continents shared this reverence for eternal flames, often situating temples and oracle chambers nearby. The common thread: these fires emerge where the Earth's crust is thin, where energy, whether gas, magma, or electromagnetic, leaks through like a whisper from the planet's core. The ancients might not have understood the science, but they recognized the power. At Kimerra, the flames don't just burn, they beckon, a reminder that some forces are older than civilization itself and far wiser than we know. Deep beneath the arid Mexican desert, hidden within the Naka mines, lies a chamber so surreal it feels like stepping into another world, the Cave of Crystals. Towering selenite spears, some longer than school buses, jut from the walls and floor in chaotic perfection, their translucent forms glowing under the faintest light. The air here is a blistering 120 degrees with near 100% humidity, conditions so extreme that unprotected visitors risk heat stroke within minutes. Yet this inhospitable environment is precisely what allowed these crystals to grow to such monstrous proportions over 500,000 years. But what if their formation wasn't just a geological fluke? What if ancient cultures knew exactly what lurked beneath their feet and revered it as a wellspring of power? Local legends speak of the caves as a portal to the underworld, a place where shamans once communed with spirits through the crystal's reflective surfaces. Modern researchers have uncovered something curious. Selenite, a form of gypsum, exhibits piezoelectric properties, meaning it can generate electrical charges when subjected to pressure or vibration. In the stillness of the caves, these crystals may respond to subtle shifts in the Earth's crust, emitting faint energy fields. Some theorists propose the caves functioned as a natural antenna array, amplifying terrestrial or even cosmic frequencies. The indigenous Zacateko people who once inhabited this region left behind carvings depicting figures holding crystal rods, hinting at a lost tradition of energy work. The cave's layout adds another layer of mystery. Unlike random mineral deposits, the largest crystals cluster in specific zones, their alignment mirroring underground water channels rich in dissolved metals, a perfect recipe for conductive energy. Explorers have reported strange phenomena, flashlights flickering without cause, compasses spinning wildly near certain formations, and an unsettling sensation of being watched. Skeptics blame these on the oppressive environment, but geologists confirm the caves sit atop a network of tectonic faults, where seismic activity could theoretically charge the crystals like batteries. What's truly spine-tingling is how Neka echoes other sacred crystal sites worldwide. From Brazil's quartz-laden mountains to the quartz-lined chambers of Egypt's Great Pyramid, ancient cultures seemed obsessed with these minerals' energetic potential. The Neka crystals, with their surreal size and purity, might represent the pinnacle of this forgotten science. Were they used for healing, communication, or tapping into the Earth's resonant frequencies? The answers may still be locked within those shimmering depths, waiting for the right key or the right technology to reveal their secrets. Standing before these crystalline giants, you can't help but wonder if we're not the first to seek their power. And if we truly understand what they're capable of. In the vast golden expanse of Kazakhstan's Altyn-Imel Desert, something extraordinary happens when the wind sweeps across the towering dunes. The sand begins to sing. Not a whisper, not a rustle, but a deep, resonant hum that vibrates through the earth and air, a sound so haunting it feels almost alive. These are the famous singing dunes where grains of sand, polished by centuries of movement, slide against one another with perfect friction, creating a natural symphony that can be heard for miles. But while science explains this as a rare acoustic phenomenon, the local nomadic tribes tell a different story, one that hints at something far more mysterious. For generations, the people of this region have revered the dunes as sacred entities, their melodies believed to carry messages from ancestors or warnings of shifting fortunes. Legends describe the sand as the petrified remains of an ancient civilization, their voices preserved in the grains. What's striking is how these stories align with modern discoveries. Researchers have found that the dune's unique composition, quartz-rich sand of uniform size and shape, creates the ideal conditions for sound production. Yet the sheer volume and clarity of the hum defy simple physics. Some dunes, like the towering Altyn-Imel Dune, emit tones so precise they resemble musical notes, leading theorists to wonder, was this phenomenon once harnessed deliberately? The desert's geography adds another layer of intrigue. The singing dunes sit at the crossroads of ancient trade routes, where travelers and shamans would have passed for centuries. Nearby petroglyphs depict figures holding what appear to be instruments, their hands raised toward the dunes as if drawing power from them. Even more compelling are the accounts of early explorers who described feeling the vibrations in their bones, a sensation that modern visitors still report. Could this be more than just sound? Some researchers speculate the dunes act as natural resonators, amplifying subtle energy fields from the Earth itself. What's truly fascinating is how the singing sands mirror other acoustic wonders across the globe. From the booming dunes of California's Kelso Desert to the humming sands of the Gobi, these phenomena share eerie similarities, always occurring in quartz-rich deserts, often near fault lines or magnetic anomalies. Were these sites once part of a broader network, places where ancient cultures tapped into the Earth's vibrational energy? The Kazakh nomads might not have known the science, but their stories suggest an intuitive understanding of something science is only beginning to grasp. Standing amid the dunes as they hum to life, you can't help but feel you're listening to an echo of the Earth's hidden voice, a song older than time itself. Beneath the turquoise waves off Japan's Yonaguni Island, a silent enigma lurks, a sprawling complex of terraced stone formations that defy easy explanation. Massive steps, sharp right angles, and towering pillars rise from the ocean floor like the ruins of a drowned city, their geometric precision so striking that even skeptics pause. Discovered by a diver in the 1980s, these submerged structures have ignited a fierce debate. Are they the handiwork of nature's slow erosion, or the remnants of a lost civilization swallowed by the sea? The answer might rewrite history and hint at a forgotten energy network now lost to the depths. What makes Yonaguni so compelling isn't just its scale. The largest structure stretches over 150 feet, but its eerie resemblance to sacred sites worldwide. The main monument, nicknamed the Turtle, features flat platforms and staircases that mirror Mesoamerican pyramids or the sunken temples of Dwarka in India. Marine geologists point to the region's seismic activity, arguing that sandstone can fracture naturally into blocky formations. Yet other details resist simple geology. Circular depressions that resemble ritual basins, a straight trench running 70 feet without deviation, and stones stacked with interlocking corners that suggest deliberate masonry. Divers report an almost palpable energy near the site, with compass needles wavering and underwater cameras malfunctioning unpredictably. Local folklore adds another layer of mystery. The Ryukyu people speak of an ancient kingdom called Mu that vanished beneath the waves, a tale echoing Plato's Atlantis. Fishermen have long avoided these waters, whispering of restless spirits near the structures. Modern sonar scans reveal even more anomalies, a network of tunnels and chambers beneath the visible ruins, some aligned with solstice sunrises. Could Yonaguni have been a hub in a prehistoric energy grid, its position chosen to harness terrestrial or celestial forces? The site sits atop a tectonic fault where underwater volcanic activity releases heat and minerals, creating conditions ripe for electromagnetic anomalies. What's most haunting is how Yonaguni mirrors other submerged sites, from Cuba's underwater city to Indonesia's Gunung Padang, each sharing uncanny geometric precision and local legends of cataclysmic flooding. Were these once connected, part of a global network of energy nodes drowned by rising seas? The ocean guards its secrets fiercely, but as currents brush against Yonaguni stones, they seem to whisper a tantalizing truth. Civilization's roots may run deeper and far stranger than we've dared to imagine. In the frozen heart of Antarctica, where the air is so still it feels like time itself has paused, a river of blood-red liquid cascades down the face of the Taylor Glacier, a sight so surreal it seems ripped from a science fiction novel. This is blood falls, a phenomenon that defies everything we know about life's limits. The water, stained a deep rust by iron oxides, flows from a subterranean reservoir trapped beneath the ice for over 1 million years. But here's what's truly astonishing. This brine isn't dead. It teems with microbial life, organisms that thrive without sunlight or oxygen, rewriting the rules of biology. Yet, as scientists study these extremophiles, another question emerges. Could this crimson flow be more than a biological oddity? Could it be a window into Antarctica's hidden energy networks? The answer lies in the water's peculiar properties. Geothermal heat keeps the subglacial lake from freezing, creating a liquid environment in one of Earth's harshest places. Sensors reveal the brine carries not just iron, but traces of sulfur and other minerals known to conduct electrical currents. Some researchers speculate the falls act as a natural battery, with the iron-rich fluid interacting with the glacier's ice to generate subtle electromagnetic fields. It's no coincidence that the surrounding area exhibits strange magnetic anomalies, or that compasses behave erratically near the falls. Ancient cultures revered iron-rich springs as portals to the underworld. Was their intuition rooted in a lost understanding of these geoelectric properties? Local legends don't exist in this icy wilderness, but the modern scientists who brave these conditions tell their own eerie tales. Equipment malfunctions are common near blood falls, with drones losing control and radios emitting static bursts. Some researchers report a faint vibration underfoot, as if the glacier itself hums with energy. The most compelling clue: the fall's flow isn't constant. It pulses in cycles that align with seismic activity deep beneath the ice, suggesting a connection to tectonic forces. If true, this would mean blood falls isn't just a geological curiosity, it's a pressure valve for the continent's hidden energy grid. What's truly mind-bending is how this site parallels other iron-rich energy hotspots worldwide. From the ochre-stained springs of Iceland to Australia's Painted Hills, places where mineral-laden waters meet geothermal activity often exhibit unusual energy signatures. Blood Falls takes this a step further, blending biology, geology, and physics into a single mystery. The microbes here don't just survive, they flourish, hinting at a symbiotic relationship with the Earth's energy, one that might mirror how ancient cultures harnessed similar sites. As the crimson flow stains the ice, it serves as a reminder, even in the most forbidding corners of our planet, the line between science and the supernatural grows thin. Perhaps Antarctica's greatest secret isn't what lies beneath the ice, but what pulses through it. Deep in the heart of the Peruvian Amazon, where the air hangs thick with mist and the jungle hums with unseen life, a river defies all logic, its waters bubbling at temperatures that can scald flesh in seconds. The Shaney Timpishka, known to locals as La Bomba, isn't fed by volcanic vents or geysers like other hot springs. Instead, its heat comes from somewhere far more mysterious, the Earth itself, leaking warmth through fissures science still struggles to map. Indigenous healers have long revered this place as the domain of Yakumama, the serpent spirit said to guard its waters, but the truth might be even stranger than legend. What sets this river apart isn't just its heat reaching up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit in some stretches, but the sheer absence of geothermal activity in the surrounding area. Normally, boiling rivers emerge near volcanoes, yet the nearest active one lies over 400 miles away. Researchers have discovered something peculiar. The water's temperature fluctuates with the seasons, spiking during heavy rains as if the river is somehow charging from atmospheric changes. Local shamans speak of ceremonies performed along its banks, where steam was channeled to purify the body and awaken visions. Could these rituals have tapped into a deeper energy exchange between the river and the rainforest? The science offers tantalizing clues. The riverbed is laced with a unique blend of minerals, iron, sulfur, and rare earth elements that interact with organic matter to create natural conductive properties. When tested, the water exhibits slight electromagnetic anomalies, especially near bends where the current churns violently. Some theorists suggest the river acts as a giant battery, its heat and mineral composition generating subtle energy fields. It's no coincidence that ancient petroglyphs nearby depict spirals and zigzags, symbols found worldwide at sites linked to terrestrial energy. Visitors to the Shaney Timpishka describe more than just heat. They speak of a palpable energy. The steam seems to carry an almost electric charge, leaving skin tingling long after leaving the water's edge. Modern explorers have documented bizarre equipment failures here, from cameras malfunctioning to GPS signals dropping without warning. Meanwhile, the Ashaninka people, who have safeguarded the river for generations, insist its power is alive. Their elders tell of stones placed in the water by ancestors, stones that hum when the moon is high. What's most compelling is how this river mirrors other sacred thermal sites, from Iceland's Blue Lagoon to Japan's onsen, where cultures harnessed geothermal energy for both physical and spiritual renewal. Here, though, the heat defies conventional explanation, hinting at a synergy between geology and something far older. As the steam rises in ghostly tendrils, one thing is clear: the boiling river isn't just a wonder of nature. It's a reminder that some forces refuse to be neatly categorized, whispering secrets to those willing to brave the heat. In the cracked, sun-baked expanse of California's Death Valley, a silent performance unfolds, one that defies logic and leaves even the most seasoned scientists scratching their heads. The Racetrack Playa, a dry lakebed so flat it feels like standing on the surface of another planet, is home to one of nature's most baffling mysteries: stones that move on their own. These aren't pebbles shifting in the wind. Some weigh hundreds of pounds, yet they slide across the hardened mud, carving trails as precise as if drawn by an invisible hand. For decades, researchers chalked it up to ice and wind, thin sheets of winter ice nudging the rocks as they melt. But here's the catch: not all the movements fit this neat explanation. Some trails zigzag abruptly, others curve in perfect arcs. A few even seem to defy physics, with stones appearing to climb slight inclines. What if these wandering rocks aren't just geological oddities, but remnants of something far more deliberate? Theories abound, each more intriguing than the last. Geologists point to the Playa's unique conditions: its surface so slick when wet that even a gentle breeze might set the stones in motion. Yet time-lapse cameras set up to capture the phenomenon have only deepened the mystery. Some rocks move when no ice is present. Others shift in ways that suggest a force beyond simple sliding, as if guided by some unseen current. Indigenous traditions from the region whisper of the Playa as a place where the Earth's energy gathers, where shamans once conducted rituals to commune with the land. Petroglyphs nearby depict spirals and serpentine lines eerily similar to the trails left by the stones. Could these carvings be a map, not just of the physical landscape, but of something far more elusive? Modern explorers have uncovered another clue. The Playa sits atop a web of fault lines, where subterranean pressures create subtle electromagnetic anomalies. Instruments have detected faint fluctuations in the area, particularly after rare rainstorms. Some researchers propose that the stones act as natural conductors, responding to shifts in the Earth's magnetic field or even underground water currents. Others go further, suggesting the Playa was once part of a larger network of energy sites, its stones placed or moved as part of an ancient experiment in harnessing terrestrial forces. The most compelling evidence, the trails themselves. Unlike random drag marks, many follow geometric patterns, intersecting at angles that hint at purpose rather than chance. What's truly mesmerizing is how this silent desert ballet mirrors other global phenomena. From Iceland's singing sands to Bolivia's wandering boulders, places where the Earth seems to animate the inanimate share uncanny similarities, often sitting atop fault lines or mineral-rich zones. The Racetrack Playa stones might be the most visible example, but they are far from alone. Standing on the Playa at dawn, watching the first light stretch across those enigmatic trails, you can't help but wonder, are we witnessing nature's whimsy or the faint echo of a technology so advanced we've yet to recognize it as anything but magic? Beneath the crystal-clear waters of the Bahamas, where sunlight fades into an endless blue, lie gaping chasms so deep they seem to swallow the ocean itself. These are the blue holes, underwater sinkholes carved into the limestone bedrock, their vertical shafts plunging hundreds of feet into darkness. To dive near one is to hover at the edge of the unknown, where the water shifts from turquoise to midnight in a heartbeat. But these aren't just geological wonders, they're energy hotspots wrapped in enigma. Divers and researchers have reported compass needles spinning wildly near their rims, sonar bouncing back distorted readings, and equipment malfunctioning without warning. Some disappearances remain unsolved, adding a layer of eerie folklore to these submerged labyrinths. What makes these holes so magnetically charged? The answer might lie in their unique structure. Unlike open ocean, blue holes act like natural conduits, funneling seawater through intricate cave systems that stretch for miles beneath the islands. These tunnels are lined with iron-rich minerals, creating a subterranean network that could theoretically channel electromagnetic energy. Even stranger, certain holes exhibit layers of hydrogen sulfide, a toxic gas that forms in oxygen-deprived environments, which some researchers believe might interact with the Earth's magnetic field to create localized anomalies. Local legends speak of these holes as eyes of the ocean, places where the sea breathes in and out with the tides, pulling energy from the planet's core. The most infamous of these is Dean's Blue Hole, the deepest known sinkhole of its kind. Here, free divers pushing the limits of human endurance report unsettling phenomena: sudden temperature drops, disorienting pressure shifts, and even fleeting glimpses of structures or shadows in the abyss. Marine archaeologists have discovered ancient artifacts lodged in the walls, stone tools, pottery, and even human remains suggesting these sites held ritual significance for the Lucayan people. Were they drawn to the same energy modern instruments detect? Petroglyphs found in nearby caves depict spirals and concentric circles, symbols recurrent in sacred sites linked to terrestrial power. Perhaps the most compelling clue lies in the blue hole's connection to larger mysteries. Their locations align with the Bermuda Triangle, a region infamous for electromagnetic disturbances and vanished vessels. Some theorists propose these sinkholes are nodes in a vast, submerged energy grid, where geological faults intersect to create vortices of unseen force. Others speculate the caves beneath them might harbor crystalline formations like those in Mexico's Naka mine, capable of storing or amplifying energy. Explorers have mapped only a fraction of these tunnels, the rest remain uncharted, their secrets guarded by crushing pressure and labyrinthine passages. Standing on a boat above Dean's Blue Hole, staring into that perfect circle of indigo, you're struck by the duality of these places. They're both inviting and ominous, their beauty belying the primal forces at work below. The ocean offers no easy answers, only whispers, a hum in the water, a flicker on a dive computer, a legend passed down through generations. One thing is certain, the blue holes don't just hide their mysteries. They dare us to dive deeper. Hidden in the dense forests of Bucks County, Pennsylvania, lies a field of boulders unlike any other, a place where the stones sing. Known as the Ringing Rocks, this 7-acre expanse of diabase boulders clinks and chimes like a giant xylophone when struck with a hammer. Each rock produces a distinct metallic tone, some ringing clear as a bell, others resonating with eerie, hollow echoes. Geologists attribute this to the rock's unique composition, a dense volcanic rock rich in iron and aluminum, but even they admit the full explanation remains elusive. Why do only certain rocks in this exact location ring, while others of the same composition elsewhere fall silent? The answer might lie not just in chemistry, but in a forgotten chapter of human history. Local Native American tribes, particularly the Lenape people, revered this site long before European settlers arrived. Their oral traditions speak of the boulders as the stones that speak, used in rituals to communicate with spirits or predict weather patterns. Archaeologists have uncovered evidence of tool marks on some ringing rocks, suggesting they were deliberately struck in patterns rather than randomly. Even more intriguing are the geometric arrangements found among certain clusters, with ringing stones positioned in arcs or circles, as if to amplify their collective sound. Modern experiments show that when struck in sequence, the rocks produce harmonic intervals, specific musical relationships that ancient cultures worldwide associated with sacred geometry and energy manipulation. The site's geography adds another layer of mystery. The boulder field sits atop a geological anomaly where underground faults intersect, creating subtle electromagnetic fluctuations. Visitors often report feeling a faint vibration underfoot, even when the rocks aren't being struck. Some researchers propose the entire field functions as a natural resonator, with the ringing stones acting as nodes in a larger energy grid. This theory gains traction when examining similar sites globally, from England's Bell Stone to India's musical pillars of Hampi, where cultures built or utilized lithic instruments with apparent knowledge of acoustic physics. What's most haunting about the ringing rocks isn't their sound, but their silence in the wrong hands. Strike a rock improperly, and it yields only a dull thud. But hit it at just the right angle, with just the right force, and the tone carries for miles. This selectivity hints at a deeper truth. These stones weren't meant for casual play. They required skill, intention, perhaps even sacred knowledge lost to time. As the wind rustles through the surrounding trees, blending with the occasional chime from a visitor's hammer, you can almost hear the ghosts of melodies past, a symphony of stone waiting for its next conductor. Over the murky swamps of western Venezuela, where the Catatumbo River meets Lake Maracaibo, the sky erupts in a spectacle so relentless it defies belief. Here, lightning doesn't just strike, it dances, flickering like a cosmic strobe light up to 280 times every hour, nearly every night of the year. Known as the eternal storm, this phenomenon isn't just a meteorological oddity. It's a living, breathing force that's shaped cultures, inspired legends, and possibly even powered ancient technologies we've yet to fully comprehend. The indigenous Weri people have long revered this storm as the work of divine beings, a celestial battleground where spirits clashed, their anger manifesting in flashes of light. But woven into their oral traditions are hints of something more practical, stories of shamans who could tame the lightning, directing its energy to heal or communicate across great distances. Modern science offers a tantalizing parallel. The storm's unique conditions, warm Caribbean winds colliding with cold Andean air over methane-rich swamps, create a perfect electrical generator. Methane, when ionized, becomes highly conductive, and some researchers speculate that the wary might have recognized this, using naturally occurring minerals or plant resins to channel the storm's energy. What's even more striking is the storm's predictability. Unlike random thunderstorms, Catatumbo's lightning follows precise patterns, often striking the same areas repeatedly. Satellite imagery reveals that these hotspots align with underground oil and gas deposits, suggesting the Earth itself fuels the phenomenon. Could ancient observers have mapped these zones, marking them with stone or wood structures to harness the energy? Explorers in the 1920s reported finding strange, charred poles near the swamps, their tops blackened as if struck repeatedly, but no settlements nearby to explain their purpose. The storm's sheer power is undeniable. A single night of Catatumbo's lightning produces enough ozone to replenish a small portion of the planet's atmospheric layer, and the flashes are visible from over 250 miles away, earning it the nickname, the Beacon of Maracaibo. Sailors once used it for navigation, while revolutionaries leveraged its glow for nighttime raids, but the most compelling clue lies in the storm's sound, or lack thereof. Despite its intensity, locals note that the thunder is oddly muted, as if the energy is being absorbed rather than dispersed. Some theorists propose the swamp's dense vegetation acts as a natural Faraday cage, dampening the noise while allowing the light to propagate. This eerie silence mirrors other energy hotspots, from the humming dunes of Kazakhstan to the resonant chambers of Malta's Hypogeum, places where sound and electricity intertwine in ways we're only beginning to understand. Standing on the shores of Lake Maracaibo, watching the sky crackle with otherworldly light, you're left with a humbling thought. If modern science struggles to explain Catatumbo's secrets, what might the ancients have known that we've forgotten? The storm doesn't just illuminate the night, it illuminates the gaps in our understanding, a flickering reminder that nature's most awesome forces rarely reveal their full hand. Tucked away in the misty hills of Megalithic, where monsoon rains lash the land with relentless fury, nature and human ingenuity have woven together a secret older than stone: the living root bridges of Chirapunji. These aren't constructions in the traditional sense, they're alive, breathing structures shaped over generations from the aerial roots of the Ficus elastica tree. Guided by the hands of the Kosi people, these roots stretch across rivers and gorges, knitting themselves into bridges that grow stronger with each passing decade. Some span over 100 feet, their tangled fibers thickening into pathways that can bear the weight of dozens. But beneath their practical brilliance lies a deeper mystery. What if these bridges were more than transportation? What if they tapped into something ancient, something alive? The Kosi have long spoken of the bridges as Jinkying Jairai, or the pulse of the forest. Elders describe sensing a subtle vibration when standing on certain routes, a hum that rises from the earth itself. Modern researchers have detected faint electromagnetic fluctuations around the oldest bridges, particularly where roots intersect water, a phenomenon known in bioenergy studies as telluric currents. These natural electrical flows, caused by interactions between groundwater and minerals, are found in sacred sites worldwide. The Kosi might not have known the science, but their legends hint at an intuitive understanding. Rituals performed on the bridges often involve offerings to the trees, as if acknowledging a reciprocal exchange of energy. What's even more astonishing is the bridge's resilience. Unlike steel or wood, they heal from damage, adapting to floods and landslides with a flexibility that defies conventional engineering. Botanists note that the Ficus elastica emits bioactive compounds when its roots are manipulated, chemicals that some believe could interact with human biofields. Shamans of the region speak of the bridges as conduits, places where the forest's wisdom flows most strongly. It's no coincidence that the oldest bridges align with underground streams, or that their curves mirror the serpentine paths of ley lines. Visitors who walk these living arches report more than just awe. They describe a shift in perception. The air feels denser, charged with an almost medicinal freshness. Some claim their thoughts clarify mid-crossing, as if the bridge itself offers focus. Scientists speculate this could stem from the tree's release of phytoncides, airborne compounds linked to reduced stress in humans. But the Kossi tell a different story. The bridges remember. Every hand that guided a route, every footstep that pressed it into place, becomes part of their living memory. What's most humbling is how these structures mirror other ancient bioarchitectures, from the bone-laced temples of Cambodia to the mycelial networks, now understood to connect entire forests. The living bridges suggest a truth we're only beginning to grasp, that the sharp line we draw between nature and technology might be an illusion. In Meghalaya, the forest doesn't just surround the bridges. It is the bridge, whispering a question across the centuries. What if the greatest energy source isn't beneath our feet, but woven through the very roots of the world? In the quiet Yorkshire town of Nersboro, tucked beneath a moss-draped cliff, flows a spring with a power that seems plucked from myth, the Petrifying well. Here, ordinary objects submerged in its crystal-clear waters emerge months later encased in stone, their surfaces transformed into gleaming mineral sculptures. Teddy bears, bicycles, even kitchen sinks fossilize as if time itself has accelerated, their shapes preserved under a brittle shell of calcium carbonate. Science explains this as a simple chemical process. The water, saturated with dissolved minerals from the surrounding limestone, deposits layers of travertine on anything it touches. Yet locals have whispered for centuries that the well's magic runs deeper than geology. The site's history is steeped in alchemical lore. Medieval chronicles describe it as the dropping well, where monks conducted experiments to turn base materials into stone, a literal interpretation of the alchemist's dream. One legend tells of a 16th-century soothsayer named Mother Shipton, born in a cave beside the well, who prophesied that its waters held the breath of the earth. Modern visitors still toss coins into the pool, a tradition rooted in the belief that the well grants wishes or reveals futures. But what if these rituals hint at a forgotten truth? Geologists have noted unusual electromagnetic readings near the well, with compass needles deviating slightly near the mineral-rich cascade. Some theorize the limestone's high quartz content could amplify subtle terrestrial energies, much like the piezoelectric stones of Carnac or Newgrange. The well's surroundings add to the intrigue. The cliff face above it is pocked with caves, their walls etched with symbols resembling alchemical sigils. Nearby, the ruins of a medieval chapel stand aligned with the well's flow, suggesting ceremonial significance. Even the water's path is peculiar. It doesn't follow gravity's pull evenly, but seems to pulse in irregular intervals, as if responding to underground pressures. Researchers have compared it to Iceland's mineral springs, where geothermal activity creates similar petrification effects, yet Nersboro lacks volcanic heat. Instead, the well's energy might stem from a convergence of underground aquifers, their mingling waters charged with dissolved minerals and trace metals. Visitors describe more than just visual wonders. Those who stand too close to the falling water report a tingling sensation, as if the air is ionized. Others claim their electronic devices glitch inexplicably, a phenomenon documented at other mineral-rich energy sites. the most haunting detail: objects petrify at different rates. A teddy bear might take 3 months to fossilize, while a leather shoe resists hardening for a year. This variability suggests the well's power isn't constant. It ebbs and flows as if breathing. What's most compelling is how the petrifying well mirrors other transformational sites worldwide. From Turkey's travertine terraces at Pamukkale to Wyoming's Devil's Tower, places where water and minerals collaborate seem to occupy a sacred niche in human imagination. The well's alchemical legacy might be more than superstition. It could be an intuitive recognition of Earth's ability to reshape matter, and perhaps with the right knowledge to harness that power. As the water drips ceaselessly over another forgotten trinket, turning it to stone grain by grain, one question lingers. Are we witnessing nature's artistry, or the faint echo of a technology that blurred the line between magic and science? High in the thin air of India's Laddoc region, where the Himalayas scrape the sky, there's a stretch of road that defies the laws of physics, or at least that's how it seems. At first glance, the magnetic hill looks like any other mountain pass, but switch off your car's engine and something impossible happens. Your vehicle begins to roll uphill, as if tugged by an unseen force. Tourists flock here to test the phenomenon, placing bottles of water on the pavement and watching them slide toward the peaks. Scientists attribute this to a clever optical illusion. The surrounding landscape's contours create a convincing false horizon that tricks the eye. But the local monks and herders tell a different story, one woven into the fabric of their oldest legends. For generations, the people of Ladakh have revered this slope as a place where the Earth's energy gathers. Ancient texts describe it as a gateway of the wind horse, a spiritual crossroads where the boundaries between worlds grow thin. Modern instruments reveal a kernel of truth beneath the mysticism. Subtle magnetic anomalies ripple through the area, strong enough to skew compass readings. Geologists point to the region's rich deposits of magnetite, an iron ore with natural magnetic properties, but the readings don't fully explain the hill's reputation. Pilgrims still leave prayer flags along the roadside, their colors fluttering in the thin mountain air, as if marking a node in some invisible grid. What's most intriguing is how the magnetic hill mirrors other gravitational oddities worldwide, from Canada's Magnetic Hill in New Brunswick to Australia's Spook Hill. These sites share uncanny similarities. All lie along geological fault lines, where subterranean mineral deposits interact with the planet's magnetic field. In Ladakh, the effect feels amplified, perhaps by the altitude or the region's unique electromagnetic profile. Explorers have documented strange equipment glitches here, drones losing stability, cameras malfunctioning, and GPS signals drifting unpredictably. Even the wildlife behaves oddly. Migratory birds avoid flying directly over the hill, veering sharply as if navigating an unseen barrier. The hill's placement adds another layer of mystery. It sits along the ancient Silk Road, a trade route dotted with temples and stupas built to harness terrestrial energy. Nearby, the Gampa of Lamayuru, one of Ladakh's oldest monasteries, perches atop a rock formation believed to pulse with earth kai by local monks. Could the magnetic hill have been a waypoint for travelers, a natural landmark that doubled as an energy beacon? Some theorists propose the slope was part of a larger network, its magnetic pull guiding pilgrims or even powering forgotten technologies. The hill's reputation as a levitation site in medieval Tibetan texts fuels such speculation, though no physical evidence of structures remains. Standing on the slope, watching a toy car defy gravity, you're left with a tantalizing thought. What if the illusion isn't just in our eyes, but in our assumptions? The Himalayas have always been a place of convergence where Earth meets sky, science meets spirituality, and the known brushes against the inexplicable. The magnetic hill doesn't just challenge gravity, it challenges us to reconsider how energy, in all its forms, might still flow through places we've yet to fully understand. Perched high in the Andes, where the air thins and the clouds cling to mountain peaks like wisps of forgotten dreams, a massive stone doorway stands sentinel over the shores of Lake Titicaca. Known as Hayumachus, Puerta de Hayumaca, or the Doorway of the Amaru Meru, this towering structure isn't just carved into the rock, it's fused with it, as if the mountain itself yielded to some unimaginable force. The door's surface is etched with intricate symbols, their meanings lost to time, while a smaller, recessed alcove at its center pulses with local legend. Indigenous elders speak of this as a stargate, a portal to other dimensions activated by energies modern science can't yet quantify. The door's design defies conventional explanation. Unlike other Inca ruins which showcase precise masonry, this 7-meter-tall structure appears to have been molded rather than chiseled, its edges smooth, almost molten, as if the rock softened under immense heat. The central alcove, just large enough for a person to kneel, bears strange grooves that some researchers believe could have once held crystalline or metallic objects. Local shamans still perform rituals here, whispering of ancestors who passed through the doorway and never returned, or who emerged days later speaking of cities bathed in golden light. Modern visitors report odd sensations near the site, sudden temperature drops, faint humming sounds, and even fleeting visions of the door flickering like a mirage. Geologists have uncovered a tantalizing clue. The rock surrounding the doorway contains unusually high concentrations of quartz and iron, minerals known to interact with electromagnetic fields. Instruments have detected subtle energy fluctuations near the alcove, particularly at dawn and dusk, as if the structure responds to celestial shifts. This aligns eerily with Andean cosmovision, which teaches that certain places, especially near water or high altitudes, act as trances where worlds intersect. The door's alignment with solstice sunrises further fuels speculation that it functioned as a kind of ancient technology, synchronizing terrestrial and cosmic energies. What's most haunting is how the Doorway of Amaru Meru echoes other global myths of portals, from Norway's Huldremos to Sri Lanka's Ranmasu Ayana. Cultures separated by oceans and millennia shared this recurring motif of thresholds guarded by stone. Some theorists propose these sites marked access points to a prehistoric energy grid, a network of ley lines or geological hotspots where the Earth's crust thinned, allowing for, well, something. The Incas left no blueprints, but their descendants still speak of the doorway in hushed tones, insisting its true purpose wasn't to separate worlds, but to remind us they were always connected. Standing before the Hayumaca door, tracing your fingers over symbols no living person can decipher, you're struck by its duality. It's both monument and mystery, a riddle carved in rock and a mirror held up to our own limitations. The mountain wind howls through its frame, carrying a question. If this was just one door, where do the others lead? Stretching like a broken necklace across the Palk Strait, the chain of shoals known as Ram Setu has baffled scientists and storytellers for centuries. From the air, it's a ghostly curve of sandbanks and shallows linking India to Sri Lanka, but step onto its sun-bleached surface and the legends come alive. Local fishermen swear some stones here defy logic, bobbing lightly in the waves as if buoyed by an unseen force. Geologists attribute this to porous volcanic pumice trapped within the limestone, but the ancient texts tell a far stranger tale. The Ramayana, a 2,000-year-old epic, describes this as a bridge built by an army of monkeys under the god Rama's command, its stones imbued with sacred syllables that made them weightless. Could these verses hold a kernel of scientific truth, a memory of forgotten engineering? The evidence is as shifting as the tides. Satellite imagery reveals the shoal's uncanny linearity. Unlike natural formations, they curve in near-perfect arcs, with segments aligned to solstice sunrises. Divers have retrieved stones from the seabed that match descriptions in the Ramayana. Light enough to float, yet strangely durable, their surfaces etched with faint markings some claim resemble Vedic energy symbols. Modern tests show these rocks contain unusual air pockets, but also traces of rare minerals like tourmaline and quartz, known for their piezoelectric properties. It's as if the stones were deliberately selected or treated to harness energy, whether for buoyancy or some other purpose lost to time. What's even more compelling is the site's connection to other global mysteries. Like the humming stones of Pennsylvania or the acoustic chambers of Malta, Ram Setu seems to interact uniquely with its environment. Fishermen report compass anomalies along certain stretches, while sonar scans reveal hollow spaces beneath the shoal's possible collapsed tunnels or chambers. Local traditions speak of rituals performed on the bridge to awaken its power, with offerings placed at specific nodes where the water flows contrary to the tides. Scientists dismiss these as superstition, yet oceanographers have documented strange eddies in these exact spots, whirlpools that defy current models of hydrodynamics. The real enigma lies in the bridge's resilience. Storms that reshape coastlines barely alter Ram Setu's contours, as if some invisible scaffolding holds it in place. Some theorists propose the entire structure sits atop a submerged tectonic ridge, where geothermal activity could theoretically charge the stones like batteries. Others point to coral samples showing accelerated growth patterns along the bridge, suggesting prolonged exposure to energy fields that stimulated marine life. Even skeptics admit the shoals occupy a geological sweet spot where mineral-rich seabeds, magnetic anomalies, and ocean currents converge in ways we're only beginning to map. Standing on the shores of Danishkodi at dawn, watching the first light gild the shoal's ragged outline, you're left with a haunting thought. Perhaps the line between myth and history isn't as sharp as we've been taught. The waves here don't just carry salt, they carry whispers of a time when humans might have wielded forces we can't yet replicate, turning stone into something between matter and magic. Whether Rama's bridge or nature's fluke, Ram Setu remains a riddle written in coral and limestone, daring us to reconsider what's possible when earth, water, and memory collide. In the frozen heart of Siberia, where winter's grip turns the air to crystal, the night sky sometimes erupts in a spectacle that defies reason, columns of light stretching from earth to heavens like luminous stairways. These are the light pillars, ethereal beams that appear when temperatures plummet so low that ice crystals form suspended in the atmosphere, catching and refracting street lamps, car headlights, or even the moon's glow into vertical ribbons of radiance. To modern science, they're a dazzling quirk of optics, but to the indigenous Evenki and Yakut peoples, these pillars have long been something far more profound. Bridges for spirits, conduits of celestial energy, or messages from ancestors flickering across the veil between worlds. The legends woven around these lights are as intricate as the phenomena themselves. Shamans of the Tungus tribes spoke of climbing the pillars to commune with the upper realms, while nomadic herders viewed them as omens, golden beams foretelling abundance, crimson ones warning of upheaval. What's striking is how these interpretations mirror other global myths. The Norse described the aurora as Bifrost, a flaming bridge to Asgard, while Maori traditions tell of Tain, the Sky Father, sending beams of knowledge to Earth. Could these shared motifs hint at something deeper? Some researchers propose that light pillars, alongside auroras and other luminous anomalies, might have seeded humanity's earliest energy myth stories of sacred forces streaming between sky and ground. Science offers tantalizing clues. The pillars form under conditions so specific they're rare even in Siberia. Temperatures below -20 degrees Fahrenheit, minimal wind, and ice crystals shaped like perfect hexagonal plates. When these crystals align horizontally, they act like millions of microscopic mirrors, stacking reflections into those ghostly towers. But here's the twist. Ancient observatories from Mongolia to Finland were often built in regions where such phenomena occur, their alignments matching the angles at which light pillars appear. Coincidence, or did prehistoric skywatchers recognize these luminous events as more than beauty, perhaps as glimpses into an invisible energy matrix? Modern encounters add layers to the mystery. Pilots flying over Siberia have reported pillars forming independent of ground lights, as if self-generated. A 2011 study documented instances where the beams pulsed rhythmically, mimicking patterns seen in seismic activity, leading some theorists to speculate about a link between atmospheric ice and terrestrial energy fields. Even more intriguing are accounts from remote villages where elders describe the pillars as breathing, their light intensifying during solstices or geomagnetic storms. Skeptics dismiss this as folklore, yet astrophysicists confirm that solar winds can influence ice crystal polarization, potentially altering the pillar's brightness. Standing beneath these frozen auroras, you're struck by their duality. They're both ephemeral and eternal, a dance of physics and folklore that challenges the line between natural wonder and sacred signpost. The light pillars don't just illuminate the Siberian night, they illuminate the human instinct to seek meaning in the skies, to trace connections between Earth's whispers and heaven's echoes. As the crystals drift and the pillars flicker, one question lingers. If nature can paint such miracles with ice and light, what other energies might still hover at the edges of our understanding, waiting to be seen or remembered? Deep in the jungles of Mexico's Huasteca Potosina, where the air hums with the chatter of parrots and the rustle of palm leaves, the earth suddenly opens into a void so vast it could swallow the Statue of Liberty whole. The Cave of Swallows isn't just a hole in the ground, it's a vertical cathedral, a throat of limestone plunging over 1,000 feet into darkness. But what's truly unsettling isn't its size, it's the way the cave behaves. Winds howl up from its depths with no discernible cause, as if the earth itself is exhaling. Climbers rappelling down its walls report sudden gusts strong enough to slam them against the rock, while others describe eerie pockets of stillness where the air feels thick, almost charged. Scientists attribute this to microclimate variations, but local Tanic healers whisper of something far older, a place where the world's energy gathers and twists like an invisible whirlpool. Legends surrounding the cave paint it as a living entity. The Tanic people, who have inhabited these jungles for centuries, call it Sotano de los Golondrinas, the basement of the swallows, not just for the birds that nest in its walls, but for the souls said to flutter between worlds here. Rituals were once performed at its rim, offerings lowered into the abyss to appease the spirits of the underworld. Modern explorers have uncovered strange acoustic properties within the cave. Certain ledges amplify whispers into deafening echoes, while others swallow sound entirely, creating voids of silence. Geophysicists have mapped unusual electromagnetic fluctuations near the cave's base, coinciding with reports from spelunkers who have experienced disorientation or vivid hallucinations deep in its chambers. The cave's geology deepens the mystery. Its shaft isn't a simple sinkhole but a complex network of collapsed chambers and hidden tunnels, their walls lined with iron-rich minerals known to interact with magnetic fields. During storms, climbers have observed faint blue sparks dancing along the limestone, a phenomenon geologists link to piezoelectric charges generated by pressure shifts in the rock. But the most baffling feature is the cave's breadth. At dawn, as temperatures shift, a visible mist often rises from the abyss, twisting into spirals before dissipating. Thermal cameras reveal this isn't just condensation. It's a rapid exchange of air masses, as if the cave is pulsing. What's most haunting is how the Cave of Swallows mirrors other global energy vortices from Arizona's Sedona to Bolivia's Valley of the Spirits. These sites share uncanny traits: anomalous electromagnetic readings, unpredictable air currents, and a long history of ritual use. The cave's sheer depth might amplify terrestrial energies, turning it into a natural antenna for forces we're only beginning to detect. As sunlight filters into its mouth, painting the walls gold, you're left with a chilling thought. If this is where the earth breathes, what might it be saying? The swallows darting through its shaft offer no answers, only the wind's wordless song, rising from the dark. The black desert of Egypt stretches beyond the pyramids like a shadow of the ancient world, a vast expanse where the golden sands give way to fields of obsidian shards, glinting like shattered mirrors under the relentless sun. This isn't ordinary sand, it's volcanic glass, forged in the fires of eruptions long before recorded history. To walk here is to tread on a landscape that crackles underfoot, each step releasing a sound like faint static, as if the very ground is charged with residual energy. While mainstream archaeology dismisses it as a geological oddity, whispers persist of something far more deliberate, that these glass fields were once part of a forgotten energy grid, a conduit for forces we no longer understand. Local Bedouin tribes have passed down stories for generations, speaking of the desert as a place where the sky touched the earth. Their ancestors described strange lights flickering over the obsidian plains at night, and travelers who vanished only to reappear days later, disoriented and speaking of voices humming from the ground. Modern researchers have uncovered traces of ancient fire pits arranged in geometric patterns, their centers filled with melted glass evidence, some argue, of rituals harnessing heat to alter the glass's conductive properties. Tests reveal the obsidian here carries unusually high levels of magnetite, a mineral known to interact with electromagnetic fields. When struck or heated, the glass emits faint infrared signatures, a phenomenon documented at other sacred sites like the Carnac Stones. The desert's layout deepens the intrigue. The glass fields aren't scattered randomly. They cluster along invisible lines that mirror celestial events, with certain formations aligning perfectly with the winter solstice sunrise. Satellite imagery shows these clusters radiating outward from a central, circular depression, a feature geologists can't fully explain, but which local lore calls the Eye of the Desert. Explorers who have ventured into this basin report compasses spinning wildly and drones losing altitude without cause, as if pulled downward by an unseen force. Some theorists propose the depression was once a focal point for energy gathering, its bowl-like shape acting as a natural resonator. What's most unsettling is how the Black Desert mirrors other obsidian-rich sites across the globe, from Armenia's glass mountains to the volcanic plains of Patagonia. Cultures separated by continents shared a reverence for this material, crafting blades, mirrors, and even scrying stones from its depths. The Egyptians, too, prized obsidian, using it in ceremonial daggers and temple adornments. Was its value merely symbolic, or did they know something about its energetic potential that we've forgotten? The desert offers no easy answers, only the crunch of glass underfoot and the uncanny sense that the sands remember more than they reveal. As the wind hisses over the obsidian plains, it carries a question. If this was once a place of power, what might still lie buried beneath those dark, glittering waves? From humming stones to eternal flames, these 22 sites aren't just relics of the past, they're portals to a world where science and myth blur into something extraordinary. Each one whispers the same tantalizing question: were these wonders happy accidents of geology, or did ancient civilizations understand forces we're only now beginning to measure? The truth might lie somewhere in between. The builders of Carnac's megaliths or Arkaim's magnetic rings left no instruction manuals, but their precision speaks volumes. They didn't just observe nature, they collaborated with it, aligning stones with fault lines, shaping chambers to amplify sound, and marking places where the Earth's pulse was strongest. What's most humbling is how these sites mirror each other across continents, as if following some universal blueprint. The same quartz-rich stones hum in Pennsylvania's Ringing Rocks and Malta's Hypogeum. Identical spiral carvings appear in Newgrange and the caves beneath Peru. Were these shared symbols or shared secrets? Modern tools let us detect electromagnetic anomalies and acoustic resonances, but the ancients might have sensed these energies intuitively, through shifts in the air, vibrations underfoot, even the behavior of animals drawn to these spots. Science is catching up, but it's clear our ancestors weren't primitive. They were pioneers, mapping a hidden lattice of terrestrial power long before the word science existed. Yet the biggest mystery isn't how these places work, it's why they've been forgotten. Perhaps their purpose faded when cultures collapsed, or their knowledge was guarded too closely by initiates. Maybe we stopped listening to the land, trading sacred springs for skyscrapers, but standing in these spaces today, you can still feel it, a prickle on your skin, a hum in your bones, as if the earth remembers what we've overlooked. This isn't just about rewriting history, it's about reconnecting with a different way of seeing. The Black Desert's glass fields or Laddoc's gravity-defying slope aren't just curiosities, they're invitations to wonder. What if energy isn't just something we extract, but something we harmonize with? The answers won't come from labs alone, but from blending instruments with indigenous wisdom, from measuring magnetic fields while heeding the stories of those who have lived beside these sites for generations. So what do you think? Are these places natural marvels, ancient power plants, or something even stranger? Drop your theories below, and if this journey through the world's hidden energies left you awestruck, join us as we keep unraveling history's greatest enigmas. The past isn't dead, it's pulsing, waiting for us